Hello and welcome to a very special broadcast of News 9 Live of TV9 Network. I am Aditya Raj Kaul. The biggest festival of democracy is underway globally in India. The elections are underway. The two-phase election is already over. There are multiple phases that are still underway. And today we have a very special guest. Someone who has represented India as a diplomat for several decades. Someone who has recently retired as India's envoy to the United States and now has plunged into politics and is in fact contesting as BJP's candidate from the Amritsar Lok Sabha seat. Thank you very much, Ambassador Taranjit Singh Sandhu, for joining us. For decades together, sir, you have represented India and successfully so. You retired as ambassador to US, which is seen as a very prestigious post for retirement. And now you immediately plunge towards politics. What made you choose this career shift immediately after retirement?
Aditya, in my understanding, I only see a difference in platform, but continuation of public service. I considered diplomacy or foreign service as an instrument of public service. US-India relationship underwent a major change in the last at least 4 years. It has transformed into a partnership. And when I say partnership, it's a win-win situation for both sides. Investments, US investments are coming into India and factories are being established. Look at any new emerging technologies, semiconductors, solar, IT, digital, startups. What is happening is they are also creating jobs for our youth. That's why I say that it's a partnership. It's an investment which is leading to development of the people. So politics for me, especially in Amritsar, my hometown, which has somehow remained untouched. I mean, somehow of course can be explained, but at this time, instead of being one of the most developed cities of India, which it was in 50s, 60s, 70s, today it's gone back. So I feel with my experience, my connections, I can help Amritsar bounce back and take advantage of the economic policies of Prime Minister Modi.
I remember last time when I met you at your residence in United States in Washington, D.C., while leaving, you actually made me almost touch the feet of the historic Golden Temple, that portrait photograph that was there. And never did I realize that you will actually go to Amritsar, both towards the Golden Temple and contest elections. But politically speaking, if we do the arithmetic and calculations, this has been a stronghold of the Akali Dal and the BJP, but also of the Congress party and Captain Amritsar Singh. Do you think the BJP will be able to give a tough fight and actually the development slogan of Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be able to resonate in the common masses of Amritsar?
Since you raised that aspect, perhaps, I was brought up in Amritsar. My family has very old connections. My grandfather, Sardar Teja Singh Samundri, my father, Sardar Bishan Singh Samundri, my mother are very deeply connected with Amritsar. Every year, even in service, I went back to my home city. And every year, I visited Darbar Sahib and Durgana Mandir. So that was part and parcel of my this thing. And that painting you have spoken about, it may surprise you. It was actually gifted to me, painted by a South Indian who was head of MasterCard in Sri Lanka.
Wow.
So I have carried it and I promised him that it will be in a prominent place, because even my father, Sardar Bishan Singh Samundri, every day used to walk to Darbar Sahib. It was a well-known part in Amritsar. So a lot of energy, a lot of encouragement for me personally too came from there. So that connect is natural. It is not it's irrespective of politics.
You know, one of the key issues that faces Punjab right now is the youth of Punjab actually trying to leave immediately as they mature or perhaps reach a certain age, that there is a growing realization, and this is not new, this has been happening for perhaps many years, that they want to go to Canada, they want to go to Australia, US for a better livelihood, for better job prospects. Why do you think that the youth in Punjab today is disillusioned with the system, with the government, and no political leader or political party has been able to change that mindset?
You are absolutely right, because we have not worked on providing an alternative. I'll just give you an example. My grandfather, Taranjit Singh Sandhu, established two schools way back in 1917. Two schools in Sarehali, in India, which still continue, and one of them was a women's school. Two schools in Samundri, which are in Pakistan today. And he was only 6th class. So, education is very important. Similarly, I mentioned my father established the Guru Nanak Dev University. Today, the most important thing in Amritsar is that education needs to be not degree oriented but skill oriented. And we have university in Amritsar, we have engineering colleges, we also have an IIM. And the Amritsar Medical College, it may surprise you, it was one of the top medical schools in India. The first 6 directors of PGI are actually students and products of Amritsar Medical College. And I know that diaspora in US, especially the Punjabi diaspora, is very emotional about Amritsar. You know, the top drugs, Czar in White House is a product of Amritsar Medical College. So, for the youth in Amritsar, it's very important to get right education. And we must provide that. If we provide that, you know, in the present circumstances, the jobs are coming back to India because investments are coming. Whether you look at First Solar, establishing the biggest solar plant in Chennai, or you look at Micron Semiconductors, establishing the biggest plant in Gujarat. You look at Microsoft, Google, IBM, all establishing training centers in India. Now, in such circumstances, in Amritsar and Punjab, people are spending lakhs and lakhs, many going illegally and getting pushed around abroad. So, the solution first and foremost is providing skilled oriented education in Amritsar. And it's possible to do, because under the new education policy in India, at least 80 US universities have started collaborations with Indian universities. Why should Amritsar miss out that? Now, I have those connects, and I want to connect the Amritsar educational institutions to the US. And it's not new. You know, last 4 years, whenever I came, the media was more conscious of me because I was ambassador in US. Every time I went to Darbar Sahib, they used to ask me, every time I've spoken about the education and knowledge partnership. So that's number one solution to get. Number two would be the startups. Look, there's a whole lot of possibility for startups for young and women in Amritsar. And I'm confident that I will be able to create a big, or encourage actually, a lot of Punjabi Bhaichara which is in United States, actually who have already visited once along with FICCI and US Chamber and offered the youth seed money. In fact, Prime Minister Modi already has schemes which provide for startups, and even in the manifesto you have seen, for particularly for youth and women. Now, I can give you one example. You know, tourism. Amritsar has 1.5 lakh visitors every day. A simple tourism startup. You can receive the tourists coming from abroad, organize their vehicle, organize one of the kids, 5 kids can set up a cooperative or a startup. One of them can be a tourist guide. There's so much to see in Amritsar. There's Darbar Sahib, there's Durgyana Mandir, there's Ram Tirath, Valmiki Mandir. You have Wagah Atari border, you have Jallianwala Bagh, you have Taranjit Singh's palaces. I've named so many. Organize a hotel and finally, after 2 days stay, put them back in the flight. Look, you can start earning at least 30 to 50,000 sitting at home. Similarly, number of other startups. So that's how you need to get the youth invested, and once they start earning, they will also pick up income.
You know, you very importantly spoke about an ecosystem that needs to be created for youth, for employment, for better opportunities. But one of the problems that also the youth in Punjab particularly face is the menace of drugs. And you know, this has been also happening for a long time. We had multiple successive governments, from the Akalis to the Congress and now the Aam Aadmi Party, who promised action, who said that they will go hammer and tongues against the drug mafia, about this collaboration, and then help the youth come out of this addiction. But I personally have traveled to Tarantaran, to all the places near Amritsar and far, where this is a menace. In fact, in the de-addiction centers, I have seen how drugs are purchased and sold. So how does this really continue, and what kind of a solution is required to end this menace?
I can propose a 3-track solution immediately. Firstly, have accountability. All these people who promised, what did they do? How are they connected with this nexus? With technology, we can shoot down the drones, and technology is available with the United States. You know, we are now purchasing armed drones. Number 2, creation of an ecosystem where youth have alternatives. Job opportunities, startups. Number 3, the rehabilitation, as you rightly pointed out. I just mentioned to you the drug czar in United States, in the White House, is a former product of Amritsar Medical College. Emotional reason also to help. He has offered me, when Prime Minister Modi was there on state visit, he went on television to share their best practices and any other assistance that is needed. And you may be surprised that 2 of the drugs that wind away the kids from in rehabilitation actually are produced by Americans. And I know that Amritsar Medical College doctors based there are dying to help. Now, we have to have these innovative ways of finding solutions, and it's possible.
Also, you know, one of the primary areas when we talk about agriculture in India, the first state that comes to mind for anybody is Punjab. But over the years, we've also seen the Punjabi farmers who are protesting on the streets, be it in New Delhi, be it on the borders of Punjab, sometimes upset with the Aam Aadmi Party, sometimes with the BJP, be it on MSP, better prices, or other issues of the farmers, their loans as well. What is the vision that you have to actually help the farmers of Punjab?
Again, very clear vision. I want them to move away from politics and talk business, if they are serious. They have been agitating for years. 3 solutions I can immediately tell you. See, the objective of everything, including MSP, is to enhance farmers' incomes. Amritsar is in a very unique position. Firstly, the products in Amritsar are actually little different. So we have a lot of vegetables and fruits grown in Amritsar. These need to be exported, and it's not very difficult to export them, especially to UAE, Dubai, Saudi Arabia. You know, there is a India, Middle East, Europe corridor that has been signed. Prime Minister Modi was in Saudi Arabia, in UAE just last month, and that was also initialed. Amritsar air cargo facility is only 20% utilized. You know, 80% facility is available. We don't even have a single cargo flight imagine if we can get the products of vegetables, fruits of Amritsar to Dubai, UAE, it will change the incomes will rise by 15 to 20 times. And where is the issue of MSP here? Incomes need to be increased, and I'm supporting that. But I see nobody focusing on this. They need to look at this too. Number 3, the waste products like parali. There are so many alternatives, including gas-based industry. In fact, interestingly, one American company, Honeywell, it's a multinational, it's actually using parali and using it in air fuel, aviation fuel. Farmers will not have cases against them. Environmentally, it's suitable and they will earn. Now, it's the responsibility of everyone to ensure that they are aware of this. So, what I'm talking of is enhancing incomes of farmers. And in this way, look, whether it's the industry or it's cooperatives or it's unions, their responsibility is to enhance the incomes of the farmers. Now, I want them to answer on that, not politics that we stop so and so. I mean, you can stop for next 5 years, but if you don't serve the real objective, which is enhancing the incomes of the farmers, then you are responsible.
You slightly hinted towards politics, as being part of this farmer agitation. There are certain fringe elements, who mostly are residing outside India, not even in Punjab, who are trying to provoke the youth of Punjab, who are trying to provoke those people perhaps who are unemployed in villages, in rural areas of Punjab, who are driving them perhaps towards separatism. But Punjab has said no to such elements long back. How do you see the Punjabi youth, the people of Punjab reacting to certain fringe elements who release these videos, these propaganda against Prime Minister Modi or the BJP government at this stage?
I will ask a very simple question. Agriculture in California is dominated by the Punjabis. Why are they practicing commercial farming, whether pistachio, badams, etc., etc.? And why are they dissuading their brothers and sisters in Punjab from moving towards those commercial farming which will enhance their incomes? It's a simple question. They want them to be stuck in rice and wheat cycle, while in the US and in Canada, they move to commercial crops. It's a simple solution. And the rest, propaganda here, there, I don't think people in Punjab much care. Politics is always played, but my question is again very simple. If people really care about the farmers, then the objective is very simple: enhance their incomes. Look, I also come from a farming background, and I have given you very clear 3 solutions. I also want to ask, Amritsar has no agro-based industry. We grow mutters. The rates of mutters in Amritsar, Dubai and London will shock you. 20 rupees in Amritsar, 330 rupees in Dubai, and hold your breath, 1300 rupees in London. Now, why don't we have a processing industry in Amritsar? Nashpati, patharnak, only grown in Amritsar. Very, very green fruit because there's no chemical added in it. Very juicy, rich in iron. Even the one which falls down, we convert it into malba, can be converted into malba used in sauces and jams. Not a single processing plant in Amritsar. The industry in Amritsar is ready. They'll be willing to invest. Technology is also possible. I've never seen anybody agitating for that. I'm asking for that. So that's why I'm confident that what I'm talking about will get people to sit up and notice.
You know, Punjab is also a border state, a very critical border state. And security has been a concern. It has had a very turbulent past, but now relative peace. Recently, there's been a demand in the business community in Pakistan that trade should be resumed between India and Pakistan. But unfortunately, because of Pathankot, because of Uri, because of Pulwama, unfortunately, there's been almost a ban on trade between India and Pakistan. Do you think connectivity is a concern? And also, do you think that this trade should be resumed? It will be beneficial not only for the people of Amritsar, particularly because of the Atari border, but also people in Pakistan.
Absolutely. Look, firstly, the trade was not stopped by India. You know the history of MF, most favored nation treatment, etc., but I'm not getting into that. I gave you an aspect about exporting of fruits and vegetables from Amritsar to UAE, Saudi Arabia, Dubai. If that starts, I don't have to explain further to you, the transit trade through Wagah-Atari border will open, because you know the forces there will ensure that Pakistan don't block it. So that is the second link. And third, we have a railway connect. Only 25 kilometers of that area needs to be connected. That is Patti Makhu. The railway minister is ready for that. I know that World Bank is ready to invest in that. I also know that the Americans are ready because of that corridor. If that happens, it saves 300 kilometers and we get connected to the ports of Gujarat and Mumbai. So there are three ways, and I am proposing all three, because even if one of them temporarily shuts, other two alternatives are available.
You know, as a diplomat, you have traveled all across the world. You have served in Sri Lanka, you have served in US and many other countries. But how do you personally, not as a politician, but as a diplomat, a very senior diplomat of India, see the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi? How do you see his vision that has unfolded in the last 10 years, and now he's running up for this third term, the elections are happening right now. How would you define this Modi government?
So one part is very visible to everyone. That is, the prestige of India has gone up. You have seen G20 and you saw how G20 was decentralized. There was excitement all over India. In fact, when I was in US, they were intrigued and fascinated by G20 being held in all states, different cities. Not only they got to see it, but they saw the excitement in the states. And you saw the conclusion of G20, how India was able to negotiate between different groups. You have also seen any of the crises, the leadership of the world connects up with him and his role. The prestige of India has gone up. So that is well known, and I don't need to further elaborate. But there's another angle which I am particularly fascinated about, and that is the development oriented. Foreign policy has touched the development, has touched the common people. And US is a great example of that. You know, in the last 4 years, especially in the last 2 years, a lot of investments from the US have come into India. Factories are being established here. The World Bank IMF reports are clearly talking of the future economic resurgence with the help of India. With all this, job opportunities are being created in India. You will see reverse of students who are studying outside, Indian Americans pitching for jobs in India. So that aspect is something which I give a lot of significance to. And I feel that I can help Amritsar in that connectivity. And since you mentioned about connectivity, one aspect of connectivity in Amritsar is also we have a international airport. If we can enhance flights from Canada, I know Canada, Air Canada is willing to fly, US, United is willing to fly. You know, 1.5 lakh visitors come every day. On the weekend it's 2.5. This will become 4 to 5. Not only more people will come, more job creation, more incomes in Amritsar, but more startups, more openings for the youth, and youth will also get weaned away into substantial jobs, into exciting jobs, away from drugs. So overall benefit will come to the economy in Amritsar.
One final question, again, as someone who has represented India, but is also now representing Prime Minister Narendra Modi. For years together, we've seen India being lectured on democratic values, India being lectured on, democratic principles and freedom of expression. And India certainly has risen over these last 10 years and given a power push, particularly in its foreign policy and its increased role, like you mentioned, the G20, the rise of the global south, the inclusion of the African Union in the G20. But, we see these images, grim images from US universities right now of the kind of violence that is happening there. And then do you think that the US State Department or the White House or the spokespersons who lecture the global south in India can do so now that they are trying to crush dissent?
See, since I'm away from diplomacy, I will not specifically comment on issues, but when I was there, I used to tell them privately, and I can say that now also. I think it's the traditional ethos of India, it's the decency that we don't comment on internal affairs. Otherwise, in the United States, there's so much we can comment on. Even when violence happened against Indian American community, against the Sikhs, I always wrote, I never made them public. So they are aware. There's no shortage. I can pick up so many areas, but I just want to give focus to the fact that in the last 2 years, a lot of investments are coming into US. It shows the confidence. My farewells, the entire leadership came out and they spoke. They are connected. So even in a family, when we sit on the dining table, there'll always be different viewpoints. But different viewpoints don't necessarily mean that there are differences. Look, right now, United States is going through a very challenging time. And this election is going to be, I didn't want to use the word exciting, but it's going to be a very challenging one in the United States. I think it's too early to predict results, though I know people here will say, oh, however, that's the strength. Look at our elections. I mean, look at the exercise, look at the sheer numbers. And all elections are hard fought, they are contested. That's the strength of democracy. So I think our democracy speaks for itself. We don't need to be defensive about anything. I mean, India invited this time observers to come. Please come and see for yourself. Come to Amritsar. People are talking about developmental issues. It's not what somebody may project it in reports, etc. So I think we are confident about what is happening, and we should not be too concerned. And you are right. I mean, nobody needs to lecture us. If we start lecturing, there'll be embarrassment that side. But it's our decency that we don't say all the time on many of the issues now.
Finally, if I can ask directly to Ambassador Taranjit Singh Sandhu, is this only the beginning of a long haul in politics? Would you see yourself not just representing Amritsar and Punjab in the parliament, but also perhaps as a senior minister in the government, or serve in different capacities under Prime Minister Narendra Modi?
Look, at this moment, from what I've been seeing of Amritsar, I am excited about the fact that we can bring Prime Minister Modi's initiatives, which are all over India, to Amritsar. And there's a lot of developmental work to be done. Just go and look at the problems there in terms of sanitation, in terms of water, in terms of law and order, in terms of drugs, in terms of civic standards. I often say to people in Amritsar, in 6 years, Indore transformed itself. Why not Amritsar? So there are exciting possibilities of doing things in Amritsar. So my focus is on that. Rest, whatever comes, one will take it in the stride.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Sandhu, for joining us.
Thank you, Aditya.